Hey everybody, welcome back to my podcast. I am your host, Jada Sharice, and it's been a minute. I apologize, but I've been so busy catching all of these blessings from God. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful. This past Sunday, September 1st, I had my very, very first event, Brokenness That Made Me Whole, Girl
Yay.
Talk. That's my guest, who I haven't introduced yet, but we'll get to it. Thank you for your support.
No problem.
The event was perfect. I had been praying about it. I didn't want any mistakes. I wanted to, have God bless my tongue and say the right things. And I wanted Him to be glorified. And I also wanted the room to be a room full of truth, of women owning their brokenness and sharing their stories. And when I tell you, it was everything and more, what I was asking for. So I just thank all of the ladies who came out, those who were sharing my flyers. I want to thank House Hill Media for creating all of my media promotions and marketing materials. Special shout out to Erica Kane of Heal Thyself Counseling. She's a licensed therapist with her own practice. She was a co-host and the speaker of the event. So she had the second half, and she touched on therapy and healing, and she shared some more of her story of being brokenness. So it was just an awesome event that we did together. Jada Sharice and Erica Kane, Heal Thyself Counseling. Again, thank you so much. But now I am back, and it is story time. I'm so excited for the next two guests that I have coming on. But today, we're going to start with Stephanie. Stephanie is my newest guest after taking a break from the podcast. We are on episode 9. And this story is just so beautiful to me. Like, when you see Stephanie, she is just so happy and pure and genuine. And you could just see her spirit. So this is what happened when I seen Stephanie a couple of months ago at a baby shower. First, let you say hey, to the guests and the audience. So just say hey, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Hello, all that is listening. God bless you. I am Stephanie.
So when I seen Stephanie a few months ago, well, first we need to tell them how we met, right?
Oh, my goodness.
I transferred to Holmes Elementary School.
Okay.
I had moved to Harvey. And Stephanie and Janae, who is also one of my really good friends, I met them in school. And we would go to Janae's house in the morning, their house in the morning. And we would wait for them to get ready. We would go to school together. And this happened like almost every day.
Every day, because it was so close.
Right, literally across the street from the school. So when I seen Stephanie at the baby shower, I was just like, how are you? You seem so happy. What's going on? And she said it was God.
Yes.
It was nobody but God. So I'm always interested in knowing, how people formed their relationship with Him, how they got closer to Him, because it was something that I struggled with until I met my boyfriend, who I'm with now. And he told me, you need to slow down. That God wants to do some things in your life. You keep taking from God, but you're not giving anything back. He told me that I needed to fast. And that was the very first time that I fasted. I have always accepted God. I grew up in the church here and there. And I wasn't walking with God. And the older you get, you have more of an understanding. And it's not just about going to church. It's actually having a relationship with Him.
Correct.
So when I talked to you, you was just so happy, but you explained that it was a struggle because you believed in God, you loved Him, you knew Him, you had accepted Him.
Correct.
But you hadn't accepted Jesus, His Son.
I did not accept His Jesus at that moment. It was everything about God first.
Mm-hmm.
The struggle with accepting Jesus came from listening to a prophet on YouTube channel.
Okay.
And he said, in order to get to the Father, I had to go through Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And it just struck. Like, literally, I meditated on it.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to God, like, how do you expect me to believe? And now, I don't want to offend any audience.
Mm-hmm.
I asked God, how do you expect me to believe in someone that sacrificed himself that's not my complexion? How do you expect for me to believe that my king is not my complexion?
Mm-hmm.
So it was debates back and forth in my head with that. I haven't grew up in the church,
Mm-hmm.
but I have been to churches.
Right.
And being there seeing with the eye has been a Jesus that's not my complexion.
Right.
I had an issue with it because all I see and know, now I do have friends that's not my complexion.
Okay.
So it was hard for me to believe that your son that died for me is not my complexion.
Mm-hmm.
God told me, I meditated on it, and he told me, if everyone is my children, why does it matter?
Right.
All you have to do is believe and have faith that my son died for your sins,
Mm-hmm.
and he is your living redeemer. I said, okay, I believe. Once I let go of the complexion thing, I just started putting Jesus in my thoughts and my conversation and everything, and we grew so close.
Really?
Yes. And he is
y'all should see the smile that she has right now. I love it.
I love him.
You
I
love him so much.
And I'm like, why did it take me so long?
Right.
But everything has a time.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I wasn't ready then.
Right.
But now that I understand that we as people, we are God's children, you know? I'm not saying that he's my complexion. I'm not saying that he's not.
Right. And that's something that I do not go back and forth about, because I've seen debates on Facebook and people go at it.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, I know what my beliefs are and what complexion I believe he is, and I know the relationship that I have, and that sits right with me.
That's it. That's all.
I'm not trying to change what you think, what complexion he is, and you have your thoughts, I have mine. I know my thoughts, I believe my thoughts, and that's it. So, and I like that you said we're not trying to offend anybody, because we're not. So all of you listening, we're not trying to offend anybody, but we are here to talk about, God's truth and Jesus dying for us and the encounters that we have. And I'm just so happy, to be talking about this.
Yes.
And this is God's doing. This is his will. So I'm excited. Well, let's start from the beginning, because when I talked to you, I asked you, what encounters did you have with him? How did you get to know him? My encounter was, I was praying to get out of a relationship. So I had been going to church here and there. My mom never made us go to church.
Okay.
But when I moved with my dad, we had to go to church every Sunday.
Okay.
I didn't want to go to church. I didn't feel like going to church, and that's because I didn't grow up in the church.
Exactly.
But then I was in high school. It was my freshman, sophomore year, and my dad would have us wake up on Sundays, and if you living with me, you're going to church.
Okay.
In one of my poems, I actually talk about that, how I didn't feel like going to church. And my daddy said, you can't give the Lord 2 hours. And that's a word, Jesus died for you. And you can't make time to go to church, to get more acquainted with the word and read and learn about fasting and tithing and things like that. So it was when I was in this relationship, I had left so many times, but yet I was still there.
Yeah.
I was going to church every Sunday. We never went to church with each other. We never prayed together. So going to church was my peace. It was giving me strength to walk away from this relationship. And then once I got out of the relationship, my prayer changed. And I was asking God to keep me out of that relationship, remove me from that cycle that we had been going through. So when I talked to you, I was asking, how did you, build your relationship with God? What was your first encounter? And you took me back to adoption.
Yes, correct.
So tell us about that, being adopted, and how did you feel, growing up and things like that. Just give us all the details, girl.
Oh, God. It was so hard. And I'll start by saying every one of us is born into a situation. We're born into sin. But God know us. And the devil knows us too.
That's true.
So with God and the devil knowing us and we not knowing ourselves, the God is pushing us to know him, while the devil is trying to destroy us since we don't know the outcome, our purpose.
That's good.
So I'll start from there. I was born into sin. And what I mean by that, I was adopted. I didn't know until I actually found out.
What age were you?
It's so funny because I'll say at least 7. My niece told me. I didn't think anything of it.
Okay.
I'm just like, okay, whatever that word even means.
Yeah. Okay.
And then as I didn't believe it, but there was favoritism going on in the house. So I kind of figured, maybe I am adopted.
Okay.
But I really felt out. It's so funny. My freshman year of high school.
Really?
Yes.
Get out.
Yes.
Because I knew, that you guys were adopted, but that was later, in our friendship back in elementary school.
Yeah.
But we didn't talk much about it. Like, you would hear the word floating around, but you didn't really know what it meant.
It wasn't a fact yet in my mind. It was just like, yeah, we're adopted, whatever. I don't believe it, Even if I tried to have a conversation with my mother, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's change the subject. So I actually really, truly found out my freshman year at high school.
Okay.
But before that, there was favoritism in the house. And I felt that and I seen that. And I didn't like it. So in order for me to get attention or feel love, I would act out in certain ways that I regret. But since we forgave each other, it's over with. So anywho, finding out, okay, let's say this. We used to go to these camps in Wisconsin, holiday home camp, and located in Lake Geneva. Okay. Every 2 weeks, it would be a summer camp. And there was this guy that was hot.
Yeah, hot.
His name was Brian. And I believe I was maybe 10 or 11 at the time.
Okay.
And I met him. He was a crush. We talked everything else. So to fast forward, I seen him my freshman year in high school.
Get out.
I'm Brian. He's Stephanie. Did you find your peoples? I said, wait, what?
Straight to the point.
Straight to the point.
Know how you been. It's good to see you.
No. Stephanie, have you found your peoples? Yeah, Miss Robinson, her crazy self at home.
Yeah.
No, Stephanie, you went to holiday home camp because that was for adopting kids. I said, wait, what? He said, you're adopted. I'm adopted too. I found my mom. I said, okay.
Hold on.
I immediately left school.
Stephanie.
Yes. It was so terrible. Like the devil was working, girl.
Wait, so what camp did you think it was? Just a summer camp?
Just a summer camp.
Wow.
No one said anything about adoption, nothing. It was a summer camp. Like activities, swimming, hiking, just fun, plays.
Nobody ever mentioned adoption.
Nobody mentioned anything.
Wow.
Yes. I went home immediately after that conversation, breathing hard like I am now, crying. I stormed in the house. Why you not at school? Ma, am I adopted? She went upstairs. She refused to have that conversation with me. I followed her. Ma, let's talk now. She started showing me birth certificates, saying no, and then slipped up and said, they didn't want you. They didn't care about you. So I figured at that moment it was hard for her to talk about that conversation.
Right.
And then she finally told me, I am your mother, but you are adopted. And everything went downhill. Like, I've been acting out, but that just put icing on the cake.
Yeah.
I've been acting out because of favoritism. I was acting out because I love my sister so much. My mom knew it at the time, and she managed to take my sister away from me. She had my sister move somewhere else, and I felt alone. I felt so alone, and I started to have suicidal thoughts. Like the enemy was working, even though I was fed, I was clothed, and I had suicidal thoughts, and I started to harm myself. And I have a mark on here that would never go away, because Jesus says you're going to always see that and remember when you were lost, when you were dead, because basically I was dead.
Right.
That's how I put it. Having adoption and being adopted, having it on my mind, I was always failing. I couldn't succeed. Excuse me.
Take your time.
I wasn't able to succeed. I wasn't able to commit. I will push people away. I didn't love myself. I was just destructive. I was evil.
Yeah.
I was literally being used by the enemy and didn't know it. And I didn't care.
Wow.
If I was upset, I wanted everyone else to be upset. As I got older, I just realized I'm beautiful.
Right.
I'm mature. I'm able to learn things in a different type of way. And I love change. And I know I am not this terrible person.
Right.
I wanted a change. I was desperate for this change. And I didn't know where I was going to get it from.
Yeah.
I was leaving my friend's house on the train. I was depressed, upset, angry. I was everything negative you can think of.
Yeah.
You know, I was dead. And you'll understand why I say that later. And I was just sitting on the train like, if there is a God, come to me right now. Take all my pain away. Instantly. Without even having faith. Without even knowing that he was going to show up and show out.
Right.
I was calm. Everything had left me. Everything. And it was like this peace. I said, okay, I like this.
Yeah.
I literally felt like I was floating in that seat on the train. Out of nowhere, he said, if you want to feel this way, you have to forgive your family. No. I said no. F them. I am tired of them. I don't even care about them. They don't love me. Why would I forgive them?
Yeah.
No. I want more. I demand love. Why would I forgive them? And immediately as I said no, depression, upset, anger, it came back. I felt so heavy.
Yeah.
I know my smile went away to just a frown. Upset. I'm looking at people on the train just having evil thoughts. And I snapped out of it. I said, I don't like it. I don't like it. Okay, come back. Come back, Lord. If you are real, come back. Give me another chance. Let's start over.
Yeah.
Instantly, when I said over, he came back. I said, okay. I'll do it. Tell me when. I'll do it. He said, when you go home, sit your mother and your father down and open up and talk to them. Put everything out there. Forgive them. They will forgive you. And forgive yourself. I said, okay. That train ride, girl, I was floating.
Yeah.
Everything was good. These things came to my head that I couldn't even imagine before. I was dead. So I felt alive.
Yeah.
I got home. Mom, sit down. I want to talk to you.
I love you. I forgive you.
She ran.
Okay. My smile just
That
dropped.
was the 22nd. November 21st, I talked to Jesus. He told me to forgive them. I didn't talk as soon as I got home. The next day, Ma, sit down. I want to talk to you. She ran. Okay. So, we didn't talk. The 23rd, Ma, I have to talk to you. I'm busy. She ran. She did not want any type of communication whatsoever. The 24th, I was coming out of my room. She was coming out of her den. I said, Ma, you're going to talk to me, even if I had to force it. She said, Stephanie, are you pregnant? I said, no! She was running, thinking that I was going to tell her, like, I was pregnant.
And I was about to ask, like, what do you think her thoughts were?
Yes, girl. She thought that I was pregnant. I'm like, well, why would you run from that?
Right.
But okay. I'm like, no, Mom, I'm not pregnant.
Yeah. Totally different.
Totally different. Where is your mind?
Right.
So she, oh, girl, come on. We could have been did this.
Right.
So I sat her down. I sat my father down. And I just started. I said, thank you for raising me. Thank you for making me the person that I am now. When I found out that I was adopted, it hurt me. And it didn't hurt me because I didn't know my biological people. It hurt me because I felt as if she showed me that I was adopted. Because it was favoritism.
That is so deep.
She'll do something for my sister and wouldn't do it for me. And I couldn't understand it. Even when I had, maybe because she's a baby. No. It was deeper than that. Because it was issues from my mother's past. My grandmother, her mother, showed favoritism with her and her youngest sister.
Okay.
So when she adopted us, she figured, let's be mean to the older sister and cherish the youngest sister.
Wow.
In my mind, wouldn't you want to change that?
Right.
That's a generational curse.
Exactly.
That I would change.
Right.
When it's my time. And I opened up. I asked her to forgive me. She forgave me. We hugged, we laughed, we cried, we argued within this within this moment.
Yeah.
And we finally just got everything out of our system, and I was floating again. So I'm like, I'm free. I forgive it. I'm not upset anymore.
Yeah.
Jesus told me that would have killed me. Holding on, being adopted, that would have killed me. Being so angry with the situation that I was born into, that he knew that I was going to eventually overcome. It's a possibility that the devil would have won and it would have killed me. Now, and that was my encounter with Jesus and getting over being adopted.
Yeah.
But just because he showed me that, and I was happy that that was over, I still wasn't faithful to Jesus.
Right. When it comes to your actual biological parents, do you have questions for them, or are you at peace?
Oh my goodness, I actually met my biological parents.
Really?
Yes. Well, not my father in person because he's currently incarcerated.
Okay.
But we spoken over the phone, and we write each other letters.
So how did you find your parents, or did your mom
that is
always
so
know
funny.
them?
My mother, Miss Robinson, she always knew them. My biological mother, she said she tried to fight for us, and she knew where we lived, but she just didn't know how to come in our life. Now, I can say God would give me memories. This lady would come and pick up me, Janae, and Carl, my biological, and she'll take us out to eat. She'll buy us clothes. And she said, call me Holly Mommy, and then she'll take us to Mommy house. And I'm like, but I didn't think anything of it. This lady, she's buying us something to eat.
So was it visions,
us.
or was it dreams you were having?
No, this was real.
You were younger.
I was younger,
and being older, it came to you as a memory.
And it came to me as a memory. But I was younger when I was with my mom.
Okay.
You know, I was actually with her. I lived with her and everything. I just didn't remember that. It was gone.
How old were you when you guys were adopted?
That's what I'm saying. I believe I was 5.
Okay.
Yep. I believe I was 5.
So did you tell Miss Robinson, and that's what I've always known your mom as, Miss Robinson, did you tell her, like, I want to meet, my parents?
No.
How did the arrangement go?
No. Holly, my biological mom, she actually found Janae on Facebook.
Okay.
And she didn't message Janae herself. She had her friend message my sister.
Okay.
Like, hi, Janae. The message said, hello, Janae. I am a friend to your mother, Holly, your biological mother, and she wants to meet you. Janae showed me the message. I'm like, well, I'm all for it. So that's how we end up meeting our biological mother.
What happened? Was it emotional? Did you guys ask questions?
Girl, it was so funny because it wasn't anything like a Lifetime movie.
Right. That's what
it
I'm
was
picturing.
regular because I already had in my mind that it's only Stephanie. So honestly, I was up for it, but deep down inside, I didn't care. So we met her in the city at her mother house, our grandmother house. Okay. So that was happy because I'm like, oh my goodness, I have a huge family. I've never been to a family reunion. Maybe I can go to one now.
Right.
I met her. I asked her the question, like, why did you adopt me? She told me so many stories. I said, all right, forget about it. And maybe that was, I don't understand why she didn't want to be honest.
So you asked your biological mom, you said adopt you.
I mean, why did she give us away?
Okay.
First to be, why did you have Miss Robinson adopt us?
So the stories wasn't...
They weren't adding up. She wasn't truthful about anything. Like, I got 3 different answers, basically.
Okay.
One was she was sick. She was sick. The other, she couldn't take care of us. And another one, she just couldn't keep us. Okay. So I got 3 different answers or whatnot. And we met her. We ate. She showed us pictures when we were young, And then it was nothing. It was like, we're here with a stranger. Yeah. The conversation didn't get deep. It wasn't no tears. It wasn't nothing. It was just like, I'm meeting this lady.
Yeah. So has the relationship grown over the years, or was it like?
It was up and down, because it's funny, because I prayed to God that I would find my biological parents, and when I found them, it was like, why did I pray for this? Mm-hmm. Not to be mean, but it was just like, I was expecting a mother. I was expecting her to want to be in my life. I was expecting her to, even though I was, 24, to still teach me certain things that a mother would teach you, to have that conversation that I always want to have with my mother, that I couldn't open up to Ms. Robinson about. And it was just more of a friendship. I'm glad that I met her, but honestly, I don't care too much of knowing her.
I wonder, I don't know, because biologically I am not a mom. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if she even knows how to be a mom to you guys. Especially with you guys being adults, and she's just meeting you.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she has other kids, maybe that's generational. Mm-hmm. Not having her children and raising them and providing for them. Maybe she doesn't, know love or affection,
Well, I have 2 younger sisters and a brother. So it's just funny how God is, how great he is, because her first 3, me, Janae, and Carl, she gave us up, and he blessed her with 3 more. Free Tawana and Deontay. So it's so funny how he blessed her with 2 girls and a boy and gave them up, and then he blessed her again with 2 girls and another boy. So she definitely knows how to be a mother. But like I said, I feel as if I was too hard on her, because I wanted a bond. Even though she lived in Minnesota, I wanted a bond. Like, I didn't want to go and move with her, but I just wanted something. Yeah. And since I didn't feel that, it was just like, yeah, this was a waste. And I don't know if that's bad on my part. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What advice would you give someone who's adopted and they're currently going through what you experienced? That favoritism, but they don't know God.
Thank you. So, this is kind of hard, because I would really only speak on my experience for knowing my father now. So, people that's been in my situation that have not received Jesus in your life, do not act out. And it's easier said than done. Write it down. Talk to yourself in the mirror, or talk to someone close that will understand your pain and things you're going through. Do not be physical. Do not give yourself less love. And do not think that everyone that comes in your path love you. I will say that. And just keep holding on. And eventually seek Jesus. Mm-hmm. If it's Jesus, know how much we can bear. Period. Like, if you're not dead now, just know that that's because of Jesus, and he has a plan for you, and he knows that victory is always yours. Stay strong. In this world, it will be long sufferings. You're gonna be happy. You're gonna be sad. You're gonna be angry. You're gonna be angelic. Just push through and pray. Because prayer does change things. Tell God to come into your life and just remove all the negativity. And I promise you, he will. It won't be easy. The process will not be easy. But if you trust and you want to be better and you want to get out that situation, trust the process. And so then eventually, you'll be free. You will be free from any harm, any negativity. You will be free from that adoption. You will know, like, okay, I was going through favoritism. My mother was mentally abusive, but it didn't kill me, And just stay strong and know that it's always a way out. Not to leave us, but eventually God will come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stephanie. I think we should wrap it up here, and I know we have more to talk about. Mm-hmm. And as you mentioned, you knew who, God was, mm-hmm. and you felt his presence, mm-hmm. and he brought you love and mm-hmm. peace and forgiveness, mm-hmm. but you weren't faithful.
I was not faithful.
And we all fall short.
Mm-hmm.
And even though you weren't faithful, mm-hmm. just like the rest of us. God still loves us in spite of.
Yep.
And that is so beautiful.
Yes.
And I know you have more encounters with him.
Yes.
You know, so we're going to talk about that in the next episode. You guys, thank you for listening. Stephanie, thank you for being honest.
Thank you.
For sharing your story. I never thought of adoption the way that you put it. You weren't upset because you were adopted, but you were upset because of how you were treated.
Yep.
The favoritism. They showed it.
Yep.
It's okay that I'm adopted and y'all been raising me this whole time and I love y'all and I only know y'all as, you know, mom and dad. But it's when you show me that I'm an outsider, that's what affects me. You know, I never thought about it that way. So that's something to think about. Again, thank you so much. You know, you shed some tears and you were honest. And that's what I want my podcast to always be, a safe space. And you know, like I know it's bigger than us.
Exactly.
You know, this moment is not about Jada and Stephanie, but it's for someone who's listening.
Exactly.
So thank you again for sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited for the next episode. You guys, stay tuned with us for the next episode. We'll definitely dive deeper into the encounters that Stephanie had with God and really accepting Jesus. Not just accepting, but walking. Yeah. So we're going to get into that the next episode. Thank you so much for listening today. Make sure you tune in and keep following, keep supporting. I appreciate it so much. Thank you to House Hill Media for always hosting. There is always, always more to the story.
Yes.
Wanting to connect with me mentally. It was the questions he asked in return, the time he put in studying me, willing to learn.